All right, welcome back to the second episode of the Starting Steps podcast. Reggie, today's guest, Kyrra Wilks, is the female counterpart of the school captain team at Coomera Anglican College. Kyrra's introduction was difficult for me to write because she embodies such a wide range of fields and is successful in each of them. As I mentioned, she is the school captain this year, and she's also recently done her 8th grade piano examination. She has an active social life, and in what remains the most impressive part of her resume to me, she's a published author, completing her first book, The Seven, when she was just 12 years old. So, Kyrra, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, Kyrra, I remember reading in the preface of your book that you'd been working on the book since you were about 7 years old. So, from 7 to 12, 5 years, how did you manage to stick with the process for so long?
I've always loved writing, so it was just a goal that I set when I was a lot younger, and I really wanted to see it through. So I managed to get there, even though I kind of stopped and started along the way. But in the end, it was worth it.
Yeah, so while you were writing the book, did you come across like any obstacles to getting it out? Like, did you find any difficulties with just writing it?
100%. I wrote it a lot when I was younger, and then I kind of left it for about a year, and I came back and I realized that my writing style had completely changed. Me as a person, I'd completely changed. My life experiences had changed the way I kind of viewed things. So when I went back and read it, I was like, oh, that's really not the way I see those sort of things anymore. So I had to go back and change it. And I know that if I went back and did that now, it would be a different story completely. So it's kind of like you have to take one moment in time and go, this is what I'm going to stick with, and then just get it out and finish it. And then you can start on a new project. So that was what I had to kind of do and just make that decision to say it's done now.
Yeah. So how did you make that decision to say it's done now? Like you said, you took the hiatus and then you started rewriting it. How did you decide when you were all said and done that this was it? This is the finished project. I don't need to rewrite it anymore.
It meant a lot of full rereads of the entire book, to the point where I went, okay, I've had enough of reading this book again and again. I'm so familiar. This is what it is. And I was really happy with that and content. And that was when I decided it was time to send it away and just accept that. So yeah, I was happy with it.
So, Kyrra, you mentioned you came back after a while when you were writing the book. What were one of the biggest influences for when you were writing the book that drew you back to it?
Drew me back. Well, it's a good question, Reggie. I mean, I guess I just got busy at school and with social life and everything that comes with that. And then I guess writing in school, sometimes you go, oh, you have to write something. You have to, compulsory. And then I kind of would go, oh, I forgot how much I love doing this. And then I would go, okay, it's time to kind of go back in and finish what I started, because I do love writing. Or you maybe read a good book and you go, that's why I was writing. And you find something that kind of reminded you, and then that made me want to go back and finish, because that was such a big childhood goal. And then those sort of things just remind you about it. I think that probably something along those lines.
And what do you think influenced you to have the goal of writing a complete book?
100% would be that I just loved reading when I was little. I loved books, movies, storytelling, like telling stories in my family, especially. That was like all we did when I was really young. And so that was a big part of my life. And it meant that I just love now even just telling stories and all of that sort of thing. I just really love stories. So that was probably the biggest influence. And then one day I went into a shop and bought a notebook and went, I'm going to fill all of this and just finish it, because why not?
So, Kyrra, you mentioned you love reading books, and that's one of the main reasons you wrote your story. But currently, what's your favorite book that you're reading or that you've read recently?
Favorite book? I guess I changed a lot. As I was saying, you change a lot when you're growing up. And so the style that I liked really changed. I was well into fantasy back then. Now I love a good drama. Love some emotional stuff. I just finished reading a really good murder mystery, Suspect. That's good, but I'm also a lot busier than I was in primary school, obviously, when I used to read heaps, and now it's assignments. And as you guys know, it's busy all the time. And so I still love watching a good movie and having a bit of a read, but it's hard to fit that sort of thing in, which is a shame. But yeah, I still try when I can.
And how do you find that you balance all of that? Because you've got so many things going on in your life. How do you find that you balance all of it and make it work?
I try. I don't know if I'm the best. I really do. I don't sleep a lot, but I try to. I like to plan out what I do. I write a lot of lists, probably too many lists, and I really aim to do everything that I possibly can. But I guess it's just hard. It's all about prioritizing. I put a lot of work into school, and so sometimes that means you can't do the reading and the movies and all that you would want to do. But then holidays, I try and give myself time to kind of catch up on all that sort of stuff, and then really get into it in the term.
Kyrra, you mentioned that you are a list writer, and I love lists. I love lists. Kyrra, I'm curious, what does a typical list for you look like, and how do you prioritize each list?
I could show you my collection of lists. I've got 20 lists on my desk over there. They just so many. I write a list, a major list, and then I write a list that has that list on it, and then just lists of lists. And I'll have I love lists. They're so fun, and just highlighting things brings me joy. But yeah, I have about 10 lists going at the same time of all different things I want to do, and I leave them all up there until I've done everything, and then I'll get rid of them and move on. But yeah, list for every day, a list for a week, a list of all my assignments, just lots. But I don't know, that motivates me for some reason. I like finishing them.
Oh,
yeah. And so those lists that you have, when do you get the time to write them? Do you do a daily list every night or every morning? And then when do you do your weekly lists and things like that?
I would do, because I do a lot of schoolwork and stuff on the weekend. So I write a list at the start of the weekend or on Friday night of everything I need to do over the weekend. And then at the end of every night when I get home, I write a list of something that I need to do that night. So yeah, daily, and then over the weekend is my big chunky one,
Yeah.
And then for holidays and stuff, I'll do a big holiday list.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then when you're going through the list, what is the first thing that you'll try to tick off first? Will you start with an easy task, or will you start with more of a bigger, harder task?
It depends how I'm feeling. Sometimes I like the easy ones, go out and see friends. Okay, tick, done that one. That was easy. But sometimes it's easier to do a couple of things and get yourself in the rhythm, and then you can knock off all the harder things. But if I have something coming up the next day, I just don't want to kid myself. I just try and get into that first and finish it off first, and then do the fun stuff afterwards. I try.
Right on, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you said seeing your friends is one of the things that you'll put on your list. Aside from social life, is social life a frequent feature on your list?
Yeah, 100%. I have to. I love people.
So do you put absolutely everything on your list, or are there some things that you'll just do habitually that you don't need to think about, that you don't need to write a to-do for?
Yeah, definitely. I just kind of have things in my routine that I don't even think about doing. And I guess if stuff comes up, I just go with the flow and do it. But I know that I've got those things written down that I should get to. It's a good reminder, definitely, to have always, no matter what kind of comes up. And you can do different stuff, but you know that you got to come back and finish that sort of thing off in the end at some point.
Yeah.
So, Kyrra, what's on the top of your to-do list currently?
At the moment, well, I had to catch up on some chem, but I'm done, so that's fun. I've got maths to do tonight. That's my top of my to-do list, and some revision. But that's I'm doing well with my list. Thanks, Reg.
So you still have school, it sounds like your number one priority. But then, Kyrra, you did what is an amazing achievement this year, which is you did your 8th grade piano exam. So given that you've done such a high level of piano while still maintaining all of your schoolwork at such high standards, like what order do you pick to do things in? Like, does piano practice happen every day, or is it only when you have time?
Well, for that, the reason I did piano was, as you would know, Baxter. But the way it worked was because of the pandemic. At the moment, exams weren't able to happen like in person as they usually would. So it was one that you would send in and kind of a live streamed exam. So basically, I was told that was an option, and I thought that sounds fun. And then I was told also you have 3 weeks. And then you have to sit. That's the deadline. That's it. And I was like, oh, right. Okay. And I hadn't learned one of my pieces. So I had a lot of work, but I was also at home doing online learning. So I said, okay, grade 8 was my goal since I've been in like prep to get it done in grade 12. And so I went, okay, that's my priority 100%. And I just spent every single day, all the time that I had, and dedicated it completely to piano for 3 weeks straight. Like didn't go out on weekends, sat at the piano all day for hours. But it was 100% worth. And now I feel like I've got, a lot of weight off my shoulders because I ticked that one off. And now it gives me time to study for externals and I don't have to worry about anything. So yeah, definitely the prioritizing thing is really, really important for that kind of thing. Just dedicate all your time to something and then tick it off.
Yeah, awesome. And then if you could go back in time and change one thing about you learning the piano to make all of it easier, what would you change?
I would practice more regularly. Instead of cramming at the end, I work really well under pressure, which is not, it's good, but it's not good because it means that I leave not just piano, this is like a general thing. I leave everything till the last minute. And I work really, really well like that, but it's probably not the best for me. Personally, it's not a good idea and I would not recommend. So I guess for kind of every area of my life, I would say just spread it out a little bit. Give myself some time at the end so I'm not so stressed. That would have been good for piano and like every assignment ever. Yeah.
Totally. And that's good advice, Kyrra. But what's some bad advice that you hear about time management and school, academics, piano, leadership? Just any bad advice that you hear that frustrates you?
I guess there's no, well, there is good and bad advice, but I reckon that it's very much individual, I believe. It's very much individual, and it's 100% what works for you. And also, I guess that like a lot of the stuff about focusing really intensely, it's so important, but it's so important to get a balance. And that's good advice that I've heard, but I feel like that needs to be kind of more heard. Like you need a balance of, as I said, like socializing, playing music if you want to play music, of doing sport, chatting with friends, doing actual homework. Yeah, all of that stuff. Spending time with family. I reckon that's so important. Yeah, so I think that kind of needs to be told more because it's important to get everything in life, not just like a little aspect of it. Yeah. That's it.
No, it's fine. So, Kyrra, with all the stuff that you have on your plate currently, what's your hobby? Or how do you let go of some stress, if that is something?
I started running. I know, it's crazy. I don't run, but I started running this year, which is kind of fun. And I feel like de-stresses me, I guess. I paint as well to like just I love it. It's like not meditation, but it's just super calming. I love painting. And just listen to music. Like love listening to music, and playing music, obviously. And then just spending time with family. Just relaxing, chilling with friends. I got a lot of things that I just like doing. I just love doing that sort of thing, and it makes me just happier. So I think that sort of stuff is so important.
And do you think that having this diverse background of experiences helped you to get to your position as college captain?
I mean, I hope so. I think so. I guess
Yeah.
it would help. Yeah.
How do you think that it helped out? Yeah.
I think in order to be in the role and to balance out everything, you need to be very aware of, like, once again, like, prioritizing what you enjoy doing. I mean, the role can be quite stressful sometimes. It's busy with everything else that's going on. So then having those things that make you happy, like spending time with friends and family and doing all that sort of thing, and remembering that it's important, that definitely helps within the role. And I guess it helped to get to the role as well, because they make me like a happier person doing all that sort of stuff. So it just makes you a better person if you know the things that make you happy and help you out in life.
Yeah. Are there any quotes that you think of often in daily life or as a leader?
Oh, quotes. Not one that I can think of. That's annoying. I should have a good quote, shouldn't I? That would be fun. I could have like a motto, a life motto. Can I think of one and like get back to you? We can swap this. Yeah. That's good. I'm gonna come up with a good one.
All right.
Do you have a quote, Baxter? Do you have like a life motto?
I do have a number of favorite quotes. The one that I'm most enjoying actually, just because it's here, I have a full book of quotes. So, like,
of course you
page
do.
after page of my favoriteest quotes.
How typical.
One of the ones that I'm really enjoying, thinking of a lot at the moment, is that bad habits are easy to form but hard to live with. Good habits are hard to form but easy to live with. And that quote, it gets me.
It's hard. I like that. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, but that book is my favorite book.
I need to borrow this book. Like, I need some good. Do you have a quote, Reggie?
Yeah. So
I'm letting the team down.
It's okay. This was asked in Baxter's interview of me, and I answered with, I believe, John F. Kennedy's quote of, "Do not ask for an easier life, but rather ask to be a stronger man."
I like that one too. Wow.
Yeah. So, Kyrra, if you don't have a quote or anything, what then guides you and your actions as a leader? If you don't have like a verbal North Star, what do you think guides you?
Oh yeah, well, I guess like not a physical quote, but just like values and goals. Well, I 100% going into the role, like my biggest kind of goals and motivators was to get to know people, to help people seize opportunities. I'm a big one for taking every single opportunity. And for me, like, taking that role as a leader was an opportunity that I really, really wanted to be a part of, and to be a part of an amazing team. And then within that team, I wanted to get to know everyone. People skills is just, I really like that kind of thing, and like to develop that with me and then with other people. So to get to know people and then encourage them to take opportunities. Because I mean, you're only at school once, and I think it's such an amazing place to be, and I want everyone to kind of seize every opportunity that they have at school and create those opportunities as a part of a leadership team. That was a very big thing for me, to make those opportunities and help everyone with them. Yeah.
And what resources did you use to sort of garner up those social skills and
Gunner
up those social skills? Oh, my social skills? I don't know. I love having a good chat. I just like talking. I guess that talking and listening to people is probably one of the best things that you can do to learn about, like, yourself, learn about other people. You hear people's experiences and their stories, and it like helps develop you as a person. And I think that Like I've done quite a bit of travel. I've been lucky to do that with my family, with their work, and like that kind of thing just opens your eyes a lot. And I love just hearing new things, learning new things from other people, and that makes me really excited. So like going to school and talking to people in all different grades and like hearing actually from them and what they think is so good, and I love that sort of thing. Right there, Reggie, having a good laugh.
It's just like, yeah, that experience is resonating in people. It's just great. And I love to hear that type of thing. But Kyrra, what would you say the hardest part of your role is?
Being with you, Reggie. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't put that in the podcast. Do not put that in the podcast.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. I am leaving that in. That's funny.
Love Reggie. Reggie check. Okay. No. To be honest, this year has been a doozy. Not the actual role, but in terms of what we've had to do in the role. I mean, we had a pandemic. We had the new ATAR system. I know, wow. It's been a big year, and I guess just no other leadership team has had to deal with that. And it's meant that our grade 12 leadership team and all the leadership teams have had to just come up with a whole lot of new innovative ways to connect and to keep our leadership going. And I think we did it. I think we really and are still doing it. But at the start, I remember like talking to our team and going, we have no clue. Like, how do you kind of come up with a way to solve that sort of thing in a situation that's never existed before? How do you do that? So that was a big challenge, but I think we're doing a great job.
Kyrra, how did you do that? How did you figure out how to solve that challenge?
A lot of conversations, brainstorming, bad ideas leading to good ideas, and looking at what other schools and communities are doing and kind of adjusting that to fit our circumstances in a way that worked. And I think we've done a really good job, which is really nice. And it's also about having an amazing team. You know, you can't just do that with one person. It's everyone's ideas and everyone's work, and everyone brings something different to the table. So it's very good. And
where are you going to progress to from here?
Forward, hopefully. Well, obviously we've got the CAC Connected page up and running. We've got a whole lot of new ways to connect with students that are online, virtual, stuff that we've never done before. And now that we're back as a community, back at school, which is great, I hope that we just do more. And we definitely won't take being at school and being actually in close proximity for granted, because we did before. And now we know how important it is to be able to connect with people when you can actually see them and talk to them face to face. So I think that we'll just seize every opportunity once again now that we're back at school.
Yeah, 100%. So if I was a kid in grade 11 and next year I'm keen, I really want to be a college captain, I want to get involved, what advice would you give to that grade 11 kid who's just starting out and wants to be a school captain?
I would 100% say just go for it, take every opportunity, get involved. For example, when we run assemblies, put your hand up to do something random. Just do it, because it's fun. Like, it's one of the most rewarding roles I've ever been in. And I love working with the team and working with the teachers and getting to meet people and have amazing opportunities. Like, it's been incredible so far, and it's only like halfway through the year. So I would say just do it and be confident, and yeah, definitely just go for it.
Yeah. And now,
Kyrra, sorry.
After you, Reggie.
Yes,
Reggie.
Sorry,
I thought I was just going to trail. You can finish off, please, back there.
No, that's all right. In your rise to leadership at the college, what was one of the best or most wild things that you did to become the school captain?
Actually, you know what really helped? Last year, I was one of the science ambassadors with you, ironically, and our team was incredible. We did a really. I loved working with you and Pascal. We did so much, and it was all stuff that had never been done before, and I loved it. Especially working with primary, and we got so much good feedback that after that I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to keep doing, making fun opportunities for primary kids to be involved, writing articles, and just coming up with new creative ways to include everyone, because those are things that had never been done before. And our team we worked so well and gelled as a team, and that was really nice. I like, it was super good for me, and I hope for you guys too. Like, I loved the team.
Yeah, no, that was fun. How exactly did that set you up for the leadership position that you got?
Well, I think that especially working in primary, it made me aware that the primary school loved to be involved, So it definitely kind of made me think, yeah, we should be getting involved across the whole campus. That was one thing. Doing some of our assembly planning, even for science ambassadors, made me think, no, this is fun. Making also our articles, that had never been done before. And we took that on as a student exec this year and continued with articles. So just different ideas that kind of, we kept going, oh, see you, Baxter.
Hi, guys.
See you later. Hey. Yeah, running with those ideas. And yeah, and also having a great team to work with. I wanted to be a part of another really good team that was helping to lead again. Yeah. So
Kyrra, before you mentioned that you had some bad ideas that led to good ones, do you have an example of like what your biggest failure turned into a great success this year?
What was a bad idea we came up with? Yes. Like 10 or
5 minutes.
5
5 minutes. Say hi.
Hi, Jeff.
It's Ken. All right, I'll come out in 5.
Hi, Ken.
That's perfect for the podcast. See, that's what I mean. Spend time with family. Like, that's a lot of fun.
So Kyrra, tell us about one of your failures or one of the bad ideas that you've come up with, and what you learnt from that, how it set you up for later success.
I'm trying to think, what was a failure we had as a leadership team? I mean, there's been a lot of ideas that we've come up with, tried to run, and just realized that it wasn't going to go anywhere. It just wasn't going to work. We started some gratitude videos and then realized that it wasn't going to work when we were all at home online and you held up a mic to a screen and went, what are you grateful for? And everyone was not doing anything. We realized that probably wasn't going to be the best idea. MasterChef? Yes. We realized that wasn't going to work because we couldn't cook together. We tried, what's it called? What's that thing?
Yogurt?
Yeah. No. Is that what it's called? Gilgan. We tried. Actually, that was an attempt, and at least we tried. It didn't go quite to plan, but at least we gave it a go. And I'd say that probably the biggest thing is, although those things may not have gone as smoothly, we gave it a go. It was the first try. Our first live streamed assembly was not as smooth as we thought. Reggie and I were running. We were sprinting back and forth, fixing up cameras. We had weird pans to the roof. Like, it was fun. But you wouldn't change those things because you learn from it. And I'd say that every mistake that you make along the way, you just learn from it and you know how to get better. So yeah, you wouldn't change any of those things.
So, Kyrra, thank you for being here today. It's great to have you here. Our final question for today is: do you feel like a success? Or do you feel successful?
Can I say a really corny answer?
I'd love to.
I guess you can measure success in a lot of ways. 100%. Like, have you got the role you wanted? Are you going to get into the uni course or get the job or all of that sort of thing? But I mean, I'm just really, really happy. I'm really happy with like everything. I'm happy that I'm a part of such a great team, part of a great school, have great friends. So I'm very grateful and I'm very happy. So yeah, I think so. If that's how I measure success. So yeah, I'm very happy.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so
Thanks.
much for coming on. That's episode 2 of the Starting Steps podcast.
Love it. Thank you guys.
See you.
Thank you so much.